Alabama. Roll On North America Tour, presented by Kenworth. Saturday, October 19th, Wells Fargo Arena. Special guest, Exile. Alabama, live. All your favorite songs from the greatest country band of all time. On sale now at Hy-Veetix.com. Produced by Outback Presents.
You're an unsung hero, so I'll sing this song for you. Always trying to understand it, making noise and making clear. We're not gonna stay in silence, we're not gonna live in fear.
All Access, an inside look at what it takes to operate Iowa's largest entertainment and convention facilities. This is Iowa Events Center All Access from Iowa Everywhere.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of All Access here on the Iowa Everywhere Podcast Network, presented by the Iowa Event Center. Matt Van Winkle, and no Adam Flack this week, but we got Chris Connolly, General Manager of the Iowa Event Center, stepping in for a busy time of year down there, man. It's busy, it's fall. We got football, the Cyhawk game just wrapped up last week, this past Saturday. Chris, I don't know who you were rooting for. I don't know if you need to show your fandom, but man, it was an awesome game, wasn't it?
Tremendous game, and I know it's weak, but I'm a fan of both teams. But
fair enough. Great
game, a lot of fun.
Well, that's what we're all about here on Iowa Everywhere, right? We cover the whole state of Iowa, and I got my Brock Purdy jersey. I'm not afraid to show it. We'll release this on Tuesday. The NFL season kicked off too, as well. But it's fun to see a lot of Hawkeyes and Cyclones in the NFL, isn't it?
It's awesome. It really is. This is the best time of year. The weather's usually pretty good, and you got college going full tilt, NFL going full tilt, a lot of primetime games. Last weekend was a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we're going to get into a few topics, but before we do, there's a show coming up this week, Cage the Elephant, Friday, September 13th, with Young the Giant. This should be a great rock show. Always great to get these shows on a Friday night for people heading down to Wells Fargo Arena.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's been a little bit since we've had a concert. So this Friday, September 13th, showtime starts 6:30. Doors open at 5:30, and like you said, it's great that it's on a Friday night. People get done the work week, come to Wells and hang out, and it should be a really good show on Friday night.
And just announced Trans-Siberian Orchestra coming to Wells Fargo Arena Thursday, November 14th. Those tickets go on sale this Friday, 10 o'clock Friday, Hy-Veetix.com. It's Trans-Siberian Orchestra. And Pentatonics, the Hallelujah, It's a Christmas Tour, comes to Wells Fargo Arena Wednesday, December 18th at 7 p.m. Those tickets are on sale right now at Hy-Veetix.com. The Des Moines Community Classic, it's less than 2 weeks away now between the Utah Hockey Club and St. Louis Blues, Sunday, September 22nd. You guys are really ramping up for this event. I know there's a lot of planning and prep that goes into something like this to bring in two professional organizations to Des Moines.
Yeah, it's this one's unique in that it is Utah Hockey Club's first professional game. They'll play their first professional game on Des Moines ice, which I think is a really neat thing. Way back when we put this whole deal together, it was our company, Oakview Group, our connection with the Arizona Coyotes at the time. And obviously the Coyotes got sold to Utah, and Utah's playing St. Louis, so we know there's a lot of St. Louis Blues fans here in the area. And, Matt, like you said, it is a lot of work. We're bringing this one in. This is a little different in that, we're not doing it in conjunction with the Minnesota and Iowa Wild, although we are using their help. But just a lot of coordination. The game's coming up on September 22nd. That's really before the Wild even get going with their season. So there'll be a lot of work, a lot of operational work where even some of the ice logos will be different from the NHL game to then going to the Iowa Wild and starting their season. So it's a lot of prep. On our end, we're bringing in a lot of sponsors. We're producing and presenting the game. We've never really done this. The last time we hosted, we did it in conjunction with the Iowa Wild and Minnesota Wild.
Yeah.
So a different kind of experience. Really, really cool that Community Choice Credit Unions jumped on and they're our presenting sponsor. But Yeah, it's like you said, the game's coming up in a couple weeks, and we're almost there, and really, really excited to host both of them.
Yeah, that is one of the cool things that you guys really, you're in control of this game. What are some of the things that fans may expect from, or may see at this game that may be a little different from like an Iowa Wild game when they go down to Wells?
Yeah, it'll be a little different, right? It won't be the same people. We'll have different sponsors involved. We've had a little more control on this one. I think the one neat thing, though, is, I mean, obviously the Iowa Wild are a great tenant in the building, and obviously Minnesota is a great partner as well. We're really utilizing them. This is what they do. This is what they do. That's what they specialize in. So we're definitely leaning on the Wild staff a little bit, and they're part of it. And, not only that, too, we're just trying to push the game of hockey. People that come down, they'll see Iowa Wild stuff around. They'll see tables, and they'll see different promos, and they'll see different things that are incorporated into this game. And it's it's like a good springboard just to get hockey going, as the Iowa Wild start in, early October. So great opportunity to host Utah for the first time. St. Louis played Minnesota last time around and brought in a good fan base. And I just think it's going to be fun. It'll be a unique event.
And those doors open at 4:30. The game starts at 6 on September 22nd. It's a Sunday. That's perfect. Get out of college football. The NFL games at the morning or the afternoon slate will be done. Head down to Wells Fargo Arena. I'm really pushing people, Chris, and I know you can vouch for me. Get those glass seats. Get right up on the glass. Be right there on the action. Really, honestly, there isn't a bad seat to watch hockey, especially at Wells Fargo Arena in that lower bowl. It's being at a hockey game in person, you can't beat it. And you guys have actually done a really cool thing with our with Iowa Everywhere listeners. You guys are offering discounted tickets. You got the promo code everywhere. Yep. If you go to HyVeeTix.com, there's that promotions tab on the top. So if you haven't yet, go to HyVeeTix.com, hit the promo tab, enter code everywhere. You're going to get discounted seats. And there's discounted seats all over the arena. So wherever you want to pick, you can get a discounted seat. It's pretty cool. And there really are some good tickets still available for that.
No, it's great. And with the discount, I mean, you can get a ticket for under $25. Definitely encouraging families to come out. As you mentioned, the game starts at 6 o'clock, most likely be done by 8:30 on a Sunday. So it won't be that late. So again, just a cool event to be able to host and be a part of. And it's kind of neat, even for us and our staff, like we're digging in and we're learning a lot, right? Like this isn't what we normally do. So it's been pretty cool throughout.
Yeah, absolutely. Make it a family night. Go to one of our great, full court press locations, Hessen House, Royal Mile, Fong's Pizza, wherever you want downtown. There's some really good spots. There's some great restaurants nearby the arena now too, which has changed over the years, right? Yeah,
really neat. I mean, Jethro's right across the street. Buzzard Billy's has always done good business, and Court Ave's only a couple blocks away. So yeah, there's a lot there.
And next month, you guys have the NBA preseason with the Minnesota Timberwolves, Philadelphia 76ers coming to town. Those single game tickets are available now, so people can get their hands on those. And those are selling pretty well, right?
They're selling great. That's another one. It's a Friday night. It's a 6 o'clock start. Obviously Minnesota, the T-Wolves finished really strong last year, and they got a ton of talent. 76ers signed Paul George. You have Joel Embiid, past MVP, and then Nick Nurse. I mean, Nick Nurse won a championship in Wells Fargo Arena for the Iowa Energy way back when. So some really neat connections. And, it is preseason, but NBA rosters aren't as big. So we know some guys will play. How long they'll play, we don't know. But they got to get in shape for the season, too. So a lot of star power on both sides there. And it's going to be a pretty cool game. It's a neat opportunity to be able to host an NHL game and an NBA game in the same year.
Well, we talk about Cyclones and Hawkeyes in the NFL. We got Luka Garza, former Hawkeye with the Wolves now. So that's pretty cool that he's been up and down with them and been in the community doing stuff too. So hopefully we'll get him back. And yeah, you mentioned Nick Nurse. That's an awesome story. Are you guys going to be able to do anything with Nick when he's back? Anything to honor him with the championship that he won here?
We hope so. I've kind of heard that Jeff Bruning from Full Court Press is doing some stuff. I think he's pretty close with Nick himself, and he's going to try and do some pregame stuff.
A couple Carroll guys, I think, right?
Absolutely. A couple Carroll guys. And, nice. Nick's been successful. He's been everywhere, and he's worked his butt off to get to this level. He's won a world championship, and what a neat thing to be able to bring him back for a preseason game with a really good 76ers team against a good T-Wolves game. It should be a lot of fun. It really should be.
HyVeeTix.com if you want to get your hands on those as well. Well, Chris, we're in a busy time of year. We're into the fall with a lot of events coming up. We went through a lot of those on our last All Access, but man, you guys are looking back at a very successful past fiscal year that you guys just wrapped up this past at the end of June. Talk about some of the big successes that you guys have had at the Iowa Event Center this past year.
Yeah, Matt, it was a great year. So we run on a fiscal that goes July 1 through June 30. So just this past June, that ended our fiscal year, and we had a great year. I mean, we hosted 20 plus concerts, which included some big name comedians. I mean, we had 2 nights of Zach Bryan that were completely sold out in the round. On the convention center side, your normal events, your Deer Classic, Home and Garden, but what made it even more busy was that, we were in the Iowa caucus cycle as well. So,
Right.
We were the headquarters for all the media that came into town for the Iowa caucus. So just a tremendous year. And, not to get too far into the weeds, but it was such a successful year that between the convention center and the arena, we turned a profit of just over $3 million back to Polk County, who owns the complex. And, I think that's our second best year ever. Really, really good year, strong year. Finally, after a couple years out of COVID, we're back to full staff, full part-time, full-time. And it seems like live entertainment is really booming. These artists want to get out. They want to play. That's an example of what we had last year. So many shows in the springtime. Mm-hmm. And then you just take a look at the tenants and your state tournaments and then, all the good stuff on the convention center. It truly was a good year. And to be able to turn a profit back $3 million to the county, that is a big deal. And, I know they're happy about it. And I know my staff, they work their butt off, and that's where it starts. It's a really good crew. I mean, we make some things happen that most people wouldn't believe, but it was a busy year. We hustled, but it really, really was a successful year, and we feel pretty proud about it.
Explain that to people that may not know. So obviously Wells Fargo Arena coming up on 20 years being in Des Moines, which is really incredible. But explain where, how Wells Fargo Arena came to be and the funding that came from that, and where you mentioned where those profits go back to with Polk County.
Yeah, I mean, obviously bonds were taken out and there was some Vision Iowa money. It was a very complicated structure to get all this put together. And, it's a big venue, right? Like, we talked about Wells Fargo Arena. You have Hy-Vee Hall. Back in January of 2012, we opened Community Choice Convention Center, which was Vets. Yeah. So it's a pretty big complex, right? It's a busy business, and the county really supports us, and they get it, and they invest back into it. As you mentioned, believe it or not, Hy-Vee Hall is coming up on 20 years at the end of December, this December 24. And then Wells Fargo opened a little bit later in June. So both venues are coming up on 20 years. And, just to be able to continue to move along and book these events and keep the infrastructure and continue to upgrade. I'll be honest with you. It's a credit to the county because Polk County really gets it. They get our business. There's so many good venues in the Midwest, right? And we're constantly competing for business. And, a lot of people look to the arena and they look at some of the sexier events with concerts and NCAA basketball and that kind of stuff. But, I'll tell you, the conventions and conferences and all these groups that are traveling in from out of town to spend time in our convention center, you look at Catch Des Moines and what they've done and Greg Edwards and his team. And it truly is a team effort between Polk County and the Convention and Visitors Bureau, our attached Hilton Hotel. That was a big piece that's really elevated us in terms of just attracting conventions. Mm-hmm. So it's everything. It really is. But business is strong. We got a great staff here, and it's a real pleasure to be able to do this and work for the county.
Really, every time I go down to the Community Choice Convention Center, it seems like there's always something big happening down there. A lot of people are having their conventions there, a lot of different events. And really, It is, like you said, a testament to your staff for bringing events that people are really interested in and that people want to come and attend. You mentioned, with politics, with the caucus coming through, those are always big draws too, but that only happens every 4 years. So to bring in, events that people are wanting to come to, and it's a testament to the people too, for making an effort to come down and spending their time and spending their money in a place that really needs it and a place that does really good things for the community too.
No doubt about it. And I think that the trick is getting people here to Des Moines, because once we get them here, it's like a hidden gem, right? Yeah. It's easy to travel in and out of. It's a great place to be. There's so many good restaurants and bars and hotels, and the hospitality is at a high level. And I think sometimes people don't know and they underestimate it. And then we get them to Des Moines. I mean, look, the NCAA is a perfect example. Mm-hmm. We finally broke through and got that men's basketball tournament in 16. We got it in 19. We got it in 23. And from everything that we can see, the fans and the fan bases really enjoy coming to Des Moines. So it's a special place, and we feel like we have a good facility. And I think the cool thing is that everybody's working in the same direction, whether it be Catch Des Moines or the Iowa Event Center or Polk County, Greater Des Moines Partnership, the city of Des Moines, everybody's working together and they get it. And not every place is like that. So it's special.
Yeah. And I think maybe the last time we talked to you this past summer, you guys were putting in a bid for the NCAA tournament in the next that next bid cycle, and that's coming up fairly soon. I believe, was it October that you'll hear?
Yeah, we're going to find out in October, and this one's a little different. This bid cycle is only a 2-year bid cycle, whereas the ones before were 4.
Right.
And where this one's a little different is we actually put a bid in for men's basketball first and second round. Mm-hmm. And we also put a bid in for women's basketball regionals, which brings 8 teams in. It only selects 2 sites per year. Mm-hmm. But we felt like it was important to also put a bid in for the women, just based on how big women's basketball is here. And it's more than just Caitlin Clark. I mean, you take a look at, the Iowa State Cyclones and like that freshman group that played for Iowa State last year. Like, women's basketball looks like it's going to be strong for years to come. So, yeah, Matt, that's coming up soon. And, we're anxious to see how that goes, but hopeful, and we feel like we've done a good job. So hopefully we'll get some good news here in October.
Eagerly awaiting that announcement. And again, that will be for which years again, Chris, for men's?
Yeah, so that'll be for both men's basketball first and second round, and then the women's regionals. That'd be for 2027 and 2028.
27, 28. Cool. It's hard to, we're not really thinking college basketball at this point. We're in college football mode, but it's always fun when we can get the tournament back here, and you guys have done a great job leading that as well. Well, cool. Chris, we thank you for stopping by and sharing some updates about the event center. Again, concert coming up this Friday, Young the Giant, headline with Cage the Elephant. That's Friday, September 13th, Hy-VeeTix.com if you want to get your tickets on that. Chris, we appreciate it, man. We'll talk to you again soon, all right?
Always good talking to you, man. I appreciate it as well.
All right, for Chris Connolly, I am Matt Van Winkle. Thank you so much for tuning into All Access here on the Iowa Everywhere Network. We're presented by the Iowa Event Center.